Hi, and welcome back to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today is Cheryl Vize, who's the co-CEO of Red Marble AI here in Australia. And we're going to be talking about the use of Agentic AI in the back office processes of heavy industries. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me, Simon.
Now, we've known each other for quite a while, so I can be quite familiar and jump right into the topic. Wanted to get your views on this whole world of agentic AI. We started off seeing the front office, for want of a better term, customer service and whatnot, really just doing, high-powered automation. But now we're starting to see back office really coming towards agentic, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kinds of use cases and things are you seeing? How are companies going about this?
So the interesting thing is, as you know, sort of the generative AI hype curve has occurred, the conversation around use cases and value becomes forefront of everybody's mind. And definitely in front of investment committees, you sort of have to stack up, why are we continuing to, go down this path, and how will this actually affect our workforce?
Yep.
And how will agentic agents sit alongside a workforce? So it's been a really interesting conversation for really the last 6 months as the technology has, come forward. But as a business, we're already contracted to look at the back office for a lot of organisations, specifically in the heavy industry and mining space, which we have a pretty good foothold on based on our tenure in that space. And we're seeing the use cases that are emerging now around procurement. So starting to look at how you take a fairly long process and match that with knowledge workers and actually almost give them a super backpack to deal with the volume, because volume is usually the issue, and trying to get through all of the activities.
So let me get this right. This is the procurement teams that are buying things, having to buy tons and tons and go out to 5, 6, 7 suppliers for everything that a mine or something like that would need, right?
Yeah, but not just buying, but also evaluating the performance of actual vendors.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So think about that from an intelligence point of view. Historically, how much information you've actually got about previous vendors, and how you may want to tailor your RFQ or RFI processes to match that, because most organisations obviously have some open tender process.
Yep.
So managing the heavy lifting on that, writing the RFI, writing the RFQ based on historical, getting then a knowledge worker to actually evaluate that. So if you think about that, it's really that first year worker, admin support activity. This is not a co-pilot. This is definitely an agent that you send off to do things, and in fact provide intelligence around that activity, and eventually potentially build new processes once it sees a trend. And so we're already, building those. And so I would have loved to have said that this is still theory, because it is a fast-moving space, but we are actually already building, and we've got our first agents as a business deploying in March. And they're global agents. Okay. They're not just local agents. They're organisations that have a global footprint who need to be able to support remote sites, few knowledge workers who are trying to do huge volume, and basically give them additional support by using agents. So it's quite a positive use case.
What happens when agentic needs to access data from a system that, a lot of Australian companies in particular carry a lot of tech debt? So, this might be a system that they've been meaning to do a $5 million upgrade to for years. And now AI struggles to get that data because of the system. Is that something that you're coming across yet?
Yeah, look, data remains. We did some research last year just on where Gen AI generally would be in the next couple of years for businesses. And data was still the number 2 on that list in regards to, we still haven't cleaned it up enough to actually support and use it from an AI perspective, from an ingestion point of view. So we are seeing organisations that have these use cases having to isolate their data and sort of almost partition it to be used. but it's work that we've wanted to see for the last 20 years. So
Sure.
it just means now it's got a use case, it is urgent, and there's a practical reason to go down that path. But it is forcing a lot of businesses back to the table to invest in that space so that
Yeah.
they
Wow.
can tap in.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. We're at time, but I love to ask everybody the same question. I'll ask you your advice. If there's a company that's just starting its AI journey, what would be your one top tip, your one bit of advice that they should consider?
Put all your executives and your leaders in a room, give them all the same understanding of what AI is and what it isn't, and then get them to think about it from their own perspective and ideate 2 or 3 ideas each in less than an hour.
Yep.
So don't make it a long process, because what you end up with, and what amazes a lot of executives, is that the ideas are there. And once people actually understand the breadth of the technology, even in simple terms, innovation sparks a whole lot of new ideas. And
Yep.
so that would be my advice. Start with the
Awesome.
basics.
Awesome. Great advice and a great AI in 5. Cheryl, thanks so much for being a part of it.
Thanks for having me, Simon.